Hey, Mark Vinciguerra, Vinciguerra Custom Shop Guitars. We got a unique one today. We're putting side dots in a finished instrument. That's never a fun job, but I think mitigating disaster before it happens, you know what I'm saying? You need to mitigate the liability, let's say that, because we're going into a finish. And it's not like wood where you can just drill a hole, put the rod in, saw it off, scrape it with a, scraper or whatever after you put the super glue in and sand it all down. All right, so the tools that we're going to be using here are as follows. We are not using a drill, which is an interesting thing. So I've got this little pin drill, or pin vise, I think they really call them, that I had permanently set up with an awl, center punch kind of thing. It's been mounted in there forever. It's been on my workbench forever. That's what I use. Matter of fact, there's a spare one in here. You can hear it. But basically, I have put a nice, new, sharp brad point bit in that, and we are going to do this by hand because we've got several reasons. One is the reach factor, getting over the body. That's always, no matter what guitar you're doing it. These are neck throughs. So, oh no, this one's a set neck. Yeah, set neck. But anyway, you can't take the neck off, so what you gonna do? So we're gonna use this glow dot material here. It's the, it's got the glow center and the white ring outside, which is pretty cool. I am a little bit limited. I have 3 or 4 different kinds of glow material. This happens to be the only one that's in 1/8 of an inch or 0.125, which consequently is really the only bit that I have, the smallest bit I have in a good brad point that I trust, because this is going to have to be a trust factor big time. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to square up an end of this stuff, and I keep holding it close like you're gonna be able to see it, and you're not. Maybe if I hold my hand up there. But anyway, I'm gonna square up an end. I'm gonna polish the end of it. Then I'm going to cut it with a razor knife, about yay big, just not as deep as my hole. I'm gonna make the hole deeper than I cut. I have water thin glue boost. And yeah, it's getting a little dated, but it's still water thin, which is good because I keep it sealed up. I have the whip tip on it. And basically what's gonna happen is I am going to put the, excuse me, hang on, stop. I'm gonna use a tool like this here. When I put the dot in, I'm gonna push it down level around the hole. That way it can't go in the hole deeper, and it's actually a tight fit. I've already drilled and tested. So process will be polish, cut after the hole's drilled, push in, flush, then wick in, water thin super glue, then instantly wipe the mess up with acetone to clean up. The goal here is to not sand after. The goal here is to not get glue everywhere. And if we have to sand, we do. I mean, if we do, we'll sand the entire edge of the fingerboard, just the width of the fingerboard. And of course, depending on how that goes, it'll either be wet sanded to an appropriate thing and buffed out, or if we have to touch up finish, we'll do it. I mean, whatever we got to do, we'll do it. But again, mitigating the downstream liabilities is what we're here to do, and that's why I'm kind of explaining it. So I'm basically going to just kind of let the camera roll a little bit and not pay attention to it too much. I'm going to kind of show you, if I can, some of the angle we're going to be working with here. So basically you can see the top of the body right here where my pinky is. That is what we have to work with. So we're going to be using our hand to guide this guy. Yeah, and some of them you may not be able to see the actual penetration. These dots are very small. I'm going to go at the bottom of the dot that's in there and do my absolute best to, again, mitigate liability or downstream damage, whatever you want to call it. I call it being careful, really careful. Again, I'm going to make sure that my tape is really seated down in those corners, because if rogue super glue does get away from you and it leaches out onto the fingerboard, you know, there's just all kind of things you can clean up. Everything can be cleaned up, but how much cleanup do you want to actually have to do and spend? So, all right, no more talk. We work now.
Bye.